Installment 14. This is about the so-called Gamer Manifesto of Jacksonville. Spoiler alert, this one is going to probably be considered fairly insulting to several people, mainly the people who were involved. So let's educate some people, because some people don't seem to understand exactly what happened. Two people went out with an agenda. They decided they were going to start destroying the smaller games and try to basically hammer the larger games and cause people to leave those games. Why? Because they wanted to form their own game, and they wanted as many people as they could possibly get. So they started undermining several games. This was actually discovered, and let's start with the two main ones. One of the main ones, we just call him the Pit Bull. He is a fairly unliked person. He has very little in the way of personality. He thinks he's intelligent when he's kind of a doofus. And he has gone out and undermined games before. He has no sense of ethics or morals. I've seen him get into wars with ex-girlfriends, and he has slashed people's tires. He has tried to get other games shut down and then lied about the fact that he didn't, try to blame it on other people. Me and Mike Nungester, just to name a couple, and neither of us were involved. And then he was probably the closest collaborator with the main instigator of this. The main instigator used to be a member of my staff. We were actually close to removing her from staff because we had set a couple canary traps and found out that she was the one leaking information to players, information that should not have gotten out to them. Information about other players, and it was used, especially at other games, to harm those players. Just before we were getting ready to do it, she got butthurt because she wasn't allowed to snoop on a disciplinary committee that she had instigated, and so she resigned, which was probably for the best. So then these two got together and they made what everybody's calling the so-called Communist, or not Communist Manifesto, what the hell, Gamer Manifesto. This was just a subtle attack upon the various games and storytellers and such. They were claiming that they were a coalition, a versatile coalition of players, and that they were speaking kind of for them. Well, first off, let me clarify something. A manifesto is a public statement. This was all done anonymously, even though we know who it is because somebody's given them up at this point. Anonymously means you're a coward. You're a coward and you're an idiot because you can't back up your arguments and your statements. You're hiding behind anonymity, and that way you can blame it on somebody else. See, I have no problem coming out and stating my views on this and exactly what I think these people are and what they're capable of. It was very apparent to us because, first off, our canary traps were involved in there. There was information that was given to a specific person that had some very unique twists to it. This was one of the ways that we discovered that she was a two-faced lying backstabber that was going to betray the game at every opportunity possible. Also, there was information that came out of there that was just incorrect because this person wasn't at every one of our staff meetings. She caught 1 out of 3, and so she didn't know the full story, and you can see that by a couple of the complaints in there. Now, I don't know what they got out of the other games. I know the Midnight Espresso games were implicated, and several of the games that were destroyed, those were attacked as well. You had the two instigators, and then you had a bunch of minions. Everybody else that was involved is nothing more than one of her minions. You think you're intelligent, you thought you were doing what you was right, I don't know. But in the end, you were morons. You were her dupes. It wasn't even a widespread coalition. I mean, an old gamer who eschews drama but is a hypocrite because she's one of the biggest portrayers of it. A couple of newbies that think that they're powerful, but basically they got into a crappy-ass game and got power because the storyteller wanted to sleep with the girl in the equation. A couple of gay guys that have the brain mentality of a turnip. I've never gotten anything better out of them. These are the people that speak for everybody else. I'm sorry. They are a poor representation of the gamers in Jacksonville, and I am very happy to see the fact that they have had to compact themselves into one little tiny game that is like maybe 10 people tops. I've had some of my players who've gone there and they've come back and said, oh my god, that is the crappiest game they've ever seen. It doesn't follow rules, it doesn't follow anything. It is basically there to stroke people's egos. Oh wow, egos. Isn't that what they were saying storytellers were all guilty of? I hate to say it, but there's more ego there than I've ever been accused of having. So, if you wanted to know what happened, and you wanted to know why these people did this, that's it. A bunch of minions. And, as I said, I'm a public type person. The two main instigators, their names are Christian and Telka, and they're fucking scumbags. They're the scum of the earth of Jacksonville, and they're the reason the gaming community is as bad as it is here. One day, that will be fixed. And guess what? They're probably not going to be a part of it. It's going to happen in spite of them. Why? Because the actual gamers that we deal with, the actual gamers that are over at Midnight Espresso dealing with their own things, I'm pretty sure that they all actually care about their communities and such. And in the end, that means we have something we can link. We can talk to each other, and you know what? In the end, we'll probably make it work. We're not going to look at that group over there that has actually sat there and caused all of these schisms. As far as I'm concerned, we're done with them. We threw them out of our games for a reason. The other games, I'm sure that they've started driving them out for a reason. So in the end, they're going to end up exactly where they deserve to be, at the gaming gutter. Because you know what? That's where they came from. They can go back where they came from. Enough said.